Adam Smith, writing in 1776, condemned what he called the savage injustice of the Europeans. He was referring to the barbarian invasion that took off from northwest and western Europe and swept over much of the world. By his day already was laying waste to much of the world, devastating the richest areas. The richest areas were places like what is now called Bangladesh or Haiti, which were regarded by the conquerors as absolute paradises. Clive, the British conqueror of what's now Bangladesh, was amazed by its wealth and industrial advancement and so on. He compared its capital city, which is now Dhaka, to London, so they were comparable, and the same was true in Haiti. Those were probably the two richest parts of the world, most populated, agriculture, etc. So that, and Adam Smith already knew that. And that's what he was referring to when he talked about the savage injustice of the Europeans. Say Adam Smith again. He was writing about 18th century England, not 20th century America. But what he pointed out was quite apt, that state power was in the hands of what he called the merchants and manufacturers of England. They were, he said, the principal architects of state policy, and they used it to ensure that their own interests were most peculiarly attended to. He said it nicer than I am, but that's the same point. However grievous the effect might be on others, including the people of England, he didn't have the data to prove it at that time, but he guessed that the people of England were probably suffering from the policies that enriched the rich, and it's probably true in retrospect. Empires, it doesn't make sense to talk about nations as entities in world affairs. Adam Smith understood this. Unless you do what later came to be called class analysis, which he took for granted, you're not even talking about the real world. When people try to talk about this today, they're always accused of being vulgar Marxists, which is a very bad thing. But in fact, what they're being is old-fashioned conservatives, just repeating what was perfectly obvious common sense before the doctrinal system had reached the point where it could drive elementary truths out of people's minds. So then it became, sort of a lefty doctrine instead of perfectly obvious common sense as it was to Adam Smith. So continuing with conservatism, I'll just keep to the Adam Smith. He went on to explain it in more detail. He pointed out that the what he called the masters of mankind pursue the vile maxim, all for ourselves and nothing for anyone else. And they'll pursue it as much as they can unless they're stopped. And that was true in his day, and it's true in our day.